in order to truly understand what we're trying to get at and why we're even doing this whole aspect or this whole representation of certain ideas that we're portraying, I have to give you an in-depth idea as to what I'm trying to even do or what subjects I'm going to be going into. Through different social interactions with a lot of different people and just seeing how the world is tending to form, I'm seeing a drastic change in the way we decide to communicate. And this can be in part to a multitude of factors that is, and being introduced into the world on the daily. There's certain that, in a sense, I like to think about the brain as almost, it's not a computer, but in order to understand it, I have to represent it like a computer. So in everyday life, there's so many different inputs and outputs that happen that make each person an individual and separates them from one another. So what I'm trying to get at with this whole conversation I'm starting is the fact that we need to learn to respect each other. We need to learn to understand and truly become more knowledgeable on certain subjects, and also understanding the fact that people don't have the same life as you. They may have such a different perception of how they decide to perceive life and how the different events in their life that has happened that has led them to be the individual that acts at the way they do today. If you think about the different moments and the very core events that happen in your life that makes you up as a person, then you have to understand that that's happened to other people, and it makes up you as a person. So you have to understand the fact that they may not have had as good of a life as you. They may not have been raised with the importance of knowledge instilled in them, or the importance of emotion, or raised with great love that some people have, and what they've been taught their whole life. So in order to respect each person, you have to understand that they've gone through a life just the same as you. So the fact that we don't have any respect for one another is very hurtful to them. And if you just look at a person and you can't really understand as to why they're acting the way they are, maybe contribute to how they were raised, or their lack of knowledge or lack of opportunity of knowledge, because nobody truly wants to be an outsider. Nobody wants to be seen as bad in this society, because that's just the nature of humans. But in order to help these people, or in order to help just one another as humans and people as a tribe, almost like we're all, as humans, are basically just one big tribe of people, even though all over the world there's so many different cultures and ways of perceiving certain things. So what you need to do is allow yourself to just respect people, and if you see them struggling, don't try to force views upon them, but rather try and understand their point of view, maybe even reason with their point of view, because not all views of subject can be completely wrong, but of course that comes to certain extents. But other than that, you have to realize that not everybody's going to have the same view about a certain subject, but it's important to understand it and maybe try to conversate with them so you guys can get a better understanding of each other. So basically what I was going into there is just an idea of what I want people to think about the individuals as humans. Learn to respect each other more. Learn to appreciate different views on a subject. While it may not be your own, understand maybe where they may have come from, or where they're coming from on a certain subject, and as to why they might think that so emotionally. I think an important part of discussing political or ideological or any sort of issue is maybe not having to be ruled so much by emotions. So, be less emotional when being introduced to a new view, and rather learn to respect and appreciate everyone's view, because it all contributes to one big truth, each little aspect of each conversation. Basically, what we're going to go into is this, trying to figure out how to go about life, because I don't believe that we're living life in the best of ways right now. I think there's a lot of hatred in the world. There's a lot of irrationality. You can see it on the news every day that there's just a lot of problems. And I think that's because of the way we're going about teaching and raising children, and not giving them proper education, emotional values, and plethora of other aspects or inputs as to why a person is a person. So essentially, here's what I'm getting at. We need to learn a new way of thinking, because it is obviously, there's some problems in the way we're thinking and the problems that we're educating. We all come from a different point of view. We all just come from different areas. So just keep an open mind whenever we're introducing new ideas. If you find something that I say wrong, or maybe a misconception I may have, let me know, because this is supposed to be an open platform. I don't want the whole conversation to be directed by me. I want you guys to tell me what you think about it, because it's all about the balance of a bunch of different things. And there's so many subjects that I do plan on going into, but we're just gonna have to go by it at one at a time. To close, don't hate, but rather speculate on as to why a certain individual may portray themselves in a certain way. Don't be so quick just to come to anger, or let your emotions rule over it as to why and how you feel about that person, because they may not even know how they're portraying themselves. It's better to take a step back and understand that they may not have meant it that way, and it's important to understand all of the implications behind each person's actions, because we can't always know how we're truly portraying ourselves.